Good evening, everyone. My name is Susan Carr. I am one of the guidance counselors here at MS 390. I cover grades 6 and 7, and I wanted to welcome you to our parent town hall. And we are holding this meeting this evening as informational to just as a midpoint check-in, so you guys can come up to speed with where we are, what our expectations are, what trends we are beginning to see. Also, to put you on the same footing with us in terms of the school day, what time it begins, what are the breaks during the day, and also speak to you about the attendance policy so that everybody is on the same page as we head into the first marking period. All right? All right. Ms. Asamoah, can you run the presentation?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Sure. So I just want to introduce myself. My name is Ms. Asamoah. I am the ELA teacher and for 701 and 702. I'm also the homeroom teacher for 701. So if your children are in 701, you know they're with me at 8:30, and I let them go by 2 o'clock. So it's a pleasure that you're here today. Thank you so much for joining us. So we're going to start off with the first slide.
Well, should we have, Ms. Holland, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ms. Holland. I am the ELA teacher for class 705. So yeah, I'm excited to meet you all, and thank you for coming.
Ms. Robinson?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ms. Robinson. I am the homeroom teacher for 703, together with Ms. Muflay, but Ms. Muflay is going to be my sidekick. And I teach math as well.
Ms. Hernandez?
Good evening, everyone. I am Ms. Hernandez. I am the science teacher for the 7th grade and some 6th grade classes. So if you have a child in the 7th grade, I am their teacher.
All right, I'd like to introduce our principal, Mr. Mercedes, who seems to be, oh, there he is, okay.
There we go. Good evening. And for me, it's a pleasure to participate in this gathering, and also want to thank the teachers for actually giving up their personal time to really, address the families with what we're about to hear. I know that I was looking at the presentation, and you guys did a wonderful job highlighting all the key elements that we need to highlight, so parents can, become more informative, and at the same time, help our students. So thank you once again, and welcome.
Thank you, and I believe Ms. Harris is with us.
Yes, I am. Hello, family. I want to once again thank you for joining us. And this 390 middle school experience, this is the first of what we hope will be several to come for the year, but we do appreciate you tuning in, and I guarantee you that this time will not be wasted. Thank you, and the next voices that you hear are from our power team that's going to bring you up to speed as to the things that we need from you, the things that they see, all leading to the success of your students. Thank you.
All right. And also tell your friends and neighbors who may not be here with us tonight that this meeting is being recorded, and it will be available on YouTube under MS390. Is that the correct address, Mr. Duran?
Middle School 390 Bronx.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Asamoah.
And Ms. Cruz has to introduce.
Oh, Ms. Cruz. I'm so sorry, Ms. Cruz.
That's okay. Hi, my name is Ms. Cruz. I am the English teacher for class 914 and 916, special education. So if you're here, thank you for coming.
Thank you. So yes, some of the things that we go through with your kids at times and things they go through with us, but we'll get through it. I'm going to go ahead and present my screen now. All right, so we're going to have some teachers going over the schedule.
Mm-hmm. So this is our daily schedule. And as you can see, school begins at 8:30 and it ends at 2 p.m. The lunch schedule is from 10:55 a.m. to 11:40. Now, it is important for your students to attend every class. Sometimes we see drop-off after lunch. So the kids, after they have lunch at home, it's important that they log in for their next class in the afternoon. Attendance is taken for every class, so we want to make sure that, the student is engaged throughout the day, and also work is assigned during every class. And this is important, that missing class means the students are missing the classwork, which it will impact their grades. So it's very important that they log on at 8:30 in the morning, and they stay the entire day and log off at 2 o'clock, and they attend each class. If they have difficulty with the technology, there is a help room. There is a slide that'll give you the web address, so that the kids can log on and get assistance, whether it's with Zoom or whether it's with their accounts. We are there, myself, Mr. Duran, and Mr. Ortiz. Mr. Ortiz is our IT specialist, and so we try to get the kids in and out as quickly as possible.
And Ms. Harris is going to share this slide on attendance with us.
We all know that attendance is crucial. They can't get the learning if they're not there. And we know that there are sometimes circumstances that are beyond your control that students do not participate, but we want to encourage them to participate every day in one way or another. So if they can't log on for 8:30, they overslept, whatever the case may be, we still want them to be encouraged to log in to get their attendance. So just for clarification, for those of you who have your kids coming into the building, that in-person attendance is presented this way for them to be present. Of course, they just have to be there. So physically, they need to be in the building, in the classroom for the learning experiences throughout the day. They're absent if they're in the building, but they're not in class. So they're in these other locations and no one can verify that they have them. So let's say that they stepped away with an escort to go to get technical assistance, but no one knows that they stepped away until much later in the day. That sounds an alarm for an alert, and we don't know whether the student is present or not. Okay, so that's the port where Ms. Carr and the others, Mr. Duran and others, Mr. Ortiz, that are there for assistance, they would have to verify that the student was actually there. So if you're in the building, you need to physically be in class in order to get a present marking. If your student is on remote, virtually, they need to log in. We've been asking that the students turn on their cameras for a period of time so we can make sure that they can see the student in case they have these crazy emojis and avatars that we need to see their faces at least for a few minutes within the periods, more so in the beginning of the day, to make sure we can accurately capture their attendance. Once again, we're aware that sometimes they may not be on exactly at 8:30, although encouraged, but they should join as soon as they can. If they're bumped off due to technical issues, they need to notify their teacher through either a message or text or call or email, something that they're having some problems, and they're going to go to the help desk to get some support and then come on back in. The idea of cutting, if a student logs into class and then they suddenly disappear with no communication and no return before the end of that period, the teachers are going to report them as cutting. You need to understand that if they need to step away, we're just asking for communication. If it's longer than, a few minutes, we know sometimes they step away, but they need to show that they're in the class. They need to surface. The teachers will call their names. They need to respond. They need to participate. We need to know that they're okay. And those are pretty much the ways that we have established and that the city has established for students to be more present and absent.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. Ms. Holland's going to touch on our virtual class norms.
So good evening again, everyone. Remote learning is new for everyone, and we wanted to share some norms or expectations with students and parents about what virtual learning should be about. Being presentable. So of course, dressing appropriately, decently, keeping your camera on and remaining still. Oftentimes students put on their cameras, but the camera is facing the ceiling, so we can't see their face. We can't ensure that they're engaged in the lesson. Or the camera is moving, or the child is going from one room to the other. So therefore the camera is moving, and therefore it could also be distracting to other students because they're in view. So those are just some of the things that we want to ensure that students are aware of and parents are aware of, so that kids can always be presentable when they're on remote learning. Being prepared. Ms. Harris just talked about logging in on times. Class starts at 8:30 or school starts at 8:30. So we expect to see them at that time. Make sure devices are charged overnight. Please ensure that your students are plugging in their devices, laptops, iPads. Some even use their phones if that's what they have to use, but we would appreciate if everything is charged and ready to go for first thing in the morning. If possible, please try to ensure that your children have a quiet space within your home so that they could focus. We know that you may have more than one child and they're all at home, learning remotely, so that may be hard. But if one person can be in the living room and one person could be at the kitchen table and sound in the background is minimized, that would be helpful to ensure that your child can remain as focused as possible. Also, it's important to ensure that materials are ready. So along with the devices being charged, if they have to take notes for certain classes, notebook is ready, pencil is ready, additional devices are just ready, lined up to go so that they're not scrambling during class and missing important instructional time. Engagement. This is a big one because it's hard. There are so many distractions at home. Again, remote learning is new for everyone, but it's important that students remain engaged during each lesson. So staying on topic, staying focused, hopefully if the TV is on in the house, not being distracted by what's happening in the background. They really need to stay focused and engaged because they can easily miss something because, again, we're learning in a new space and environment. Please encourage students to ask questions. If they seem lost, you're walking by and your child seems confused, encourage them to continue to ask questions. Stop the teacher if they are lost so that, they don't get super lost and then, they can't complete their work on their own. And yes, encourage them to raise hands if they need assistance. And we also talk about being like a good digital citizen and being respectful at all times. So keeping mics muted so that you're not disrupting the class with background noise, using appropriate language, appropriate comments to each other, engaging in discussion, and, remaining attentive and listening and being present fully. So those are some of the norms we've been discussing with students since the first day of school. We're discussing with you now so that you can help them maintain and reach to the levels of expectations for these norms. And anyway, we are here to help. That's what we are here for. So please, we want to work together collaboratively so that we are giving your children the best experience as possible.
Thank you, Ms. Holland. And now Ms. Hernandez is going to touch on Google Classroom.
All right, good afternoon or good evening, parents. So as you're aware, Google Classroom is kind of our virtual classroom. It's where all assignments are posted, whether it is an entrance ticket, homework, and a quiz or an assessment. All assignments are posted on Google Classroom. Now, you as a parent actually have access to join your child's Google Classroom. So what we've been doing is we have been asking parents and gathering emails so that we can send you an invite. Once you are sent an invite, it automatically generates it generates an invitation to all of your child's classrooms, so that once you accept the initial invite, you will be joined to and linked to all of your students' classes. Now, we ask that you search your inbox for your invites because a lot of them were sent out. Some parents have yet to accept their initial invitation. Now, by accepting your invitation to join your child's classroom, what that will do is that every Sunday evening, you will receive a summary report about your child's current progress in their classroom. So you might see their current grade. You will see what assignments they have completed, what they have not completed, and any classroom announcements that have been made for your child. Again, it is very important that we have a line of communication and a line of partnership with our parents. I mean, we all know that virtual learning has been difficult, and we really need that collaboration. But by accepting your invite, you can stay on top of your child and know what exactly is going on in their learning.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. Now, Ms. Robinson is going to touch upon work completion.
Yes. Hello, parents again, and we are so happy that you guys are here with us. One of the very, 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 may I stress, very important things we want to ensure is that students are completing their work. Very similar to when they were in class, in person, the expectation was that they complete their work in each and every class that they're having. Now, as we touched on in the very beginning, there are certain times where students are in class. So it's not just ELA or math, they have a class for every time. And each teacher assigns them work. Now, the expectation is that students are completing this work whilst they are logged on into the class. Teachers provide students with time in order for them to complete the work. Despite it being remote, we still hope and are aiming to see if our students are able to understand what's being taught to them. And the only way we could know that they understand the work is through engagement and by seeing what they are able to do when they're at home. And again, because they're not physically in front of us, it's very important that we see all of the assignments that they're able to complete. So if there is nothing that is completed on the work that we assigned to them, that means that either one, they just didn't understand what was being said, or they're not completing the work. So in addition to having time during the school assigned time for them to do the work, we also allow them to finish off their work for homework if they weren't, for some reason, weren't able to finish that off. And also, there's also additional support. DreamYard is one of the after-school programs that 390 has offered for children who are in 390. And teachers also have office hours from 2 to 2:20, where we are, again, accessible to the students to help them for any work that they are either missing or they didn't complete. Now, hopefully, everyone is able to be able to sign up for Google Classroom. During that time, you can get to see what assignments are missing for your students, for your child, so that not only do they know, but you also know the assignments that are not being turned in. Right now, one of the trends that we are seeing is that students are not turning in the work. They're saying that, oh, miss, I did it, but they turn in work and it's either blank or it's not completed. So we want to ensure that we aren't the only voices encouraging them to finish off the assignments, but we would also like your help in making sure that they complete the work.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Robinson. Now, Ms. Carr is going to go over grading.
So all of this work that we are talking about and work completion will result in an electronic progress report during our virtual parent-teacher conference, which is scheduled for November 19th. The first virtual report card will be issued on December 22nd. And these documents that you're going to be receiving, the progress report and the report card, will let you know how how your student is progressing and their academic readiness for completion of the current grade and readiness for the next grade. And the way that you can access the virtual report card is through the Department of Education My Student Portal. And so if you don't have that email, their login information, we can provide it for you through the help room. So you can just email myself or Mr. Duran, and we can provide the student information, their login, ID, and password, so that you have access to their report card through the My Student Portal.
Thank you, Ms. Carr.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to touch upon some of the topics that were actually already highlighted by my colleagues in regards to trends and some of the solutions. So in regards to logging in late, we please ask that you make sure that our children, your students, go to bed at an appropriate time. We know that sometimes it is extremely difficult to find that personal space and maintain it, you know, between now with home being their school. So we do ask that you please help them in ensuring that they get to sleep on time, they have enough energy, enough brain focus to wake up and join us by 8:30. We also do ask that the students set some alarms. They have access to the devices from the school. It is so okay if they can set some alarms, letting them know of their time to log in, their time to go to lunch, even the time for homeroom, just so that they can start maintaining a healthy schedule and commit it to memory. As far as the learning station is concerned, we do ask, if possible, that you make sure that the student has a suitable workspace so that they can study and do their work. So we're hoping to try and avoid or limit interruptions, unnecessary noise, such as television or loud music, any space that they can just sit comfortably and complete this work. Sometimes we see some students laying down in bed or on a couch, and we tend to see and hear in the chat how comfortable it is. And, you know, usually that's the space where they're not going to be able to always provide their best work. So we just ask for your help in accommodating that type of space. If possible, headphones with a mic. They tend to help students focus and participate. Any type of covering that you think is accessible in your home for our students, we greatly appreciate it. So when students are not logging in, how can we find a solution for this? Because when they don't log in, they're losing a part of the instruction. Instruction is synchronous. So we are daily in person trying to guide them through strategies and skills for them to master. Our school is big on inspiring greatness, and we're extremely really focused on ensuring that they are college and career ready. So in order to be able to get to the 8th grade with skills that they need to then take to high school, they got to catch it in 7th grade. So please make sure that their iPads are charged every night before bed, during the day, because using all these apps will drain your battery. We get it. So please kindly keep them near an outlet so that they can charge as needed. For work not being completed. So please be sure that before the end of the meeting or during the help desk hours, you are able to get to the MS390 website, accept your Google Classroom Guardian invitation to view the assignments, the students' work, and their present grade. Please note, grades fluctuate every single day that they send in assignments. You can also see comments from the teachers, so please be on the lookout for all that information. We also ask that you are a partner in this process, that you check in with students regularly and ask them to show you the work that they completed that day. Not the turn-in button, but the actual work would be greatly appreciated. Last but not least, distractions. So we know social media can be a distraction, so can video games and text messages. Please kindly, if you can, remove cell phones during class hours, so from 8:30 to 2 p.m. That will help to control the video game use and the social media use. And the cell phone should only be used in case of emergencies. We do recognize that if there is perhaps an issue with a device and you must resort to using the cell phone, we completely understand. Also, please know to get in contact with the school should there be any interruptions or issues with your devices, so that we can work on that and aim to assist. Okay, we are all partners in this, and we want to ensure that we are assisting you in that process. Okay, so now we're going to touch on parent and teacher coordination. Ms. Holland and Ms. Carr, you can take it away.
So as Ms. Asamoah was just saying, as Ms. Asamoah was just saying, it's important that parents and teachers maintain a relationship so that we ensure that your children are successful. The main point of contact for teachers will be email. I mean, we do make phone calls, and we have been making phone calls, but sometimes email is just a much easier form of communication for us to just be able to send you a message, and hopefully you're able to respond to that message. So please, one, ensure that we do have your most current email on file with the school, and teacher has it. And then secondly, we ask that you just check your email daily just to see if there are any updates from the teachers.
Mhm. And as mentioned, if you could please accept your Google Classroom invitation and read through the weekly email update.
It was mentioned before that teachers have office hours Monday through Friday from 2 o'clock to 2:20. So those are office hours that are basically on the schedule for students or parents alike to be able to reach out and contact teachers. But as teachers, who love our students and care about our jobs, we avail ourselves to our students at all other times as well. So just encourage your students to reach out to us, and we will do our best to ensure that we are supporting that student's needs. So email us. They do have phone numbers for us where they can reach out. Of course, I'm not talking about at midnight, but any appropriate time, they can reach out to us for support.
And lastly, for you guys to visit the MS390 website that has all kinds of updates and information pertinent to the school. And please encourage your students, if they are having difficulty with their devices or any login information, to visit us at the help desk every morning from 8:30 to 1 p.m.
Awesome. So now we're opening the floor for any questions. If there are any questions that you would like to place in the chat at this time, we can read it out for you if you prefer. But we also do have our contact information here. So every teacher in the 7th grade has listed their email. Please, at this time, you're welcome to screenshot it if that's more feasible. We're all getting used to that these days. But you're welcome to also write it down. That's one way to reach us. Should you reach out via email, we all have our Talkatone numbers, iPads. You're welcome to also retrieve that information by way of email. On all of our Google Classrooms, we've all put measures of contact. So please note, should you be unable to contact us via an email, ask your children to log into their Google Classroom. It's posted there where they can contact us via phone. So now we're open for any questions.
Hi, good evening. I have a question. I have an issue that is, I don't know if it's the science or whatever, and they create like a presentation, and the kids cannot edit the presentation to type in the answer. How, I don't know if it's science. Hold on. Alex, what is the class? Social studies. I'm sorry, social studies, no science. I'm sorry, Mr. Hernandez.
I got scared real quick because I was like, I make all my work editable for kids.
So he cannot edit the work, and they supposed to be like, and they have a due date and stuff like that. So how can we do that work so that they could turn it in? Because it's like, sometimes I used to print it for him, but it's like this one is like 16 pages and stuff like that. It's like, it's a lot of pages.
I can share out just from a teacher perspective. Thank you so much, Ms. DeSimone, for your question. So yes, it's definitely a formatting matter. So with the use of many great technological applications through our great school and on our devices, we do know that sometimes the formatting can be very challenging for students, especially if it's formatted in a Google slide, but the way it was organized, the students may not be able to list their comments. Now, I know that there were always steps provided through our social studies teacher. However, with your question, perhaps we can, this is good feedback, perhaps we can now consider some alternatives for better ways of them being able to contact, edit directly. But if there are other, yes, Ms. Hernandez, go ahead and share out as well.
Well, I was going to suggest maybe it might be an issue on the Google Classroom end. So sometimes when teachers are posting assignments, they may not necessarily make a copy for each student. If that is the case that Alex is experiencing, like he is able to see the assignment worksheet itself, but he's not able to actually edit, he can actually make a copy of that assignment. Once he makes a copy of that assignment, he'll be able to actually work on that worksheet, the copy of the worksheet. That's one option. Another option, would be for Alex or any of the students who are experiencing similar issues to notify their teachers right away so that we can actually send their individual worksheet via email.
Okay, yes, thank you. Yes, because it's like a Google slide and we cannot edit anything on it.
Okay.
And it's not like it's more like a PowerPoint, I guess, like the presentation, and he just put it in for them to do the assignment. But there's no way that I could like transfer it because I usually try to like transfer and opens like other websites so that he could edit and stuff like that. But it's like this one I cannot even do it. I say let's create a Google document, but it's nothing like for us to copy and paste. It's not possible at all.
Got it. Thank you, Mr. Wong.
No, thank you guys.
Yeah. All right. Are there any other questions or anything else that we can address for you while we're here?
There is one question.
Hi, this is.
Oh, please go ahead.
Hi, this is Benjamin's mom. I just want to thank you very, very much for doing this presentation. It makes it a lot clearer what's going on and everything like that. I do have one question though, and I don't know if this is something that you guys can do, or I was just wondering, like, have you guys thought about the mental health aspect of the kids that are all home? I was just curious if there's like school counselors talking to them, because it is really, really different for these kids to be home. And I think they might be struggling like right under our noses. I think I'm going through that a little bit.
So hi, I'm Ms. Carr. I'm the guidance counselor for grades 6 and 7. So I know Benjamin from last year as well as this year.
Right.
If you, I would not, I have no problem with, speaking to him maybe during office hours. I get a little reluctant unless, parents, let me know or teacher lets me know of a situation that may need my attention to pull them out of class. Because every day their schedule is very structured, but I would be happy to maybe arrange a Google Meets between you and I and Benjamin, and then we can take it from there.
I think that would be great. And I'm just curious, like, if maybe I'm not the only one seeing that, if children might be also just struggling a little bit in a different way than, what typically would happen, because it is really isolating, to not talk to other children. I mean, especially for the remote kids. So I just, but thank you so much for doing this presentation. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And I'll be sending an email to you, all right? Thank you.
Thank you.
There was a question in the comment box. I don't know if it was addressed. What should we do when we are commuting to work and the kids are still in class?
Yeah, can I interject for a second? Yeah. Don't worry about your travels.
Don't worry about that.
We'll support, and the teachers are here very understand. Today we had Ms. Harris 93.6% attendance. Yeah,
well, actually, the final count for today was 94. We were so close, so close.
Yeah, and so that's a testament of working together. We have, the most wonderful staff, and I'm always talking about and about everyone else that I get a chance to talk about how wonderful my staff is. But parents as well, because without you, like I say, we will not be here. And and one thing I want to mention, right, is the fact that there's a couple of things coming in the horizon, and that is right in a couple of days, parents are going to have the opportunity now to begin to look at change their learning preferences. And so one of the things that we're trying to advocate is to give you the information, right? And at the end of the day, you guys make the decision based on the needs that you guys have. The learning preferences you're going to be receiving information about whether or not you want to change the learning preferences. And remember, as I recall, and you guys probably recall better than I do, that the chancellor had publicly stated that there was going to be changes every quarter. And so this is not the case now. The case now is that on December 2nd, the second and the final opportunity to change is going to happen. It's going to take place. what we're trying to do is trying to already give you the information, right? Teachers already developed a relationship with the students. Teachers already have assessed, right? What we want to be able to do is make sure, again, that we're going to have this opportunity, and hopefully you guys would continue to have that same teacher. So if you changing preferences, then you're gonna have to change the teacher. And so the only option that we have is a substitute teacher for in-person instruction. And so, I feel for you, because, you guys are turning your home into instructional spaces, and your home is not designed to have instructional spaces. That's what the schools are for. But, we urge you that, if at all it can happen, continue to happen. Our teachers here are wonderful. They will be able to work with and identify the areas of need, and work with your kids on trying to address those areas of need. The other option would be, it won't be fair, because now the child has developed a relationship, and so now that the relationship ends, and then we have to transition to and someone else. But if I was to say to you that the in-person instruction was to happen every single day, then I would say, you know what, every single day. But this is a blended type of model, where now you're going to have a different instructor, knowing that the seventh grade determines high school. And so the other issue is that we have a new grading policy that we're going to talk to you guys, not now, but later on, because we also have to look at that policy and see how does it best support our school community. And so once we find out how the grading policy supports support our school community, then we're going to go out there and we're going to make our policy public. But right now we just got the information, and we're putting teams together so that we can address a policy that is going to support everyone in our school community. But the problem with the policy is that at the end of the day, the final grade is a letter grade, and so that is a disadvantage for our kids, and for kids looking for high schools that are great high schools. But we'll address that as we move forward. But what I want to let you guys know is that you are going to have that opportunity to make a decision, and so we'll provide you with the information, and then that decision is going to be made based on your needs, and hopefully we'll be able to support you on that venture. The support might not be you're not going to get the same quality of instructors, but you're going to get an instructor. For attendance purposes, they have to have their cameras on, but they don't have to have their cameras on all the time, all throughout the period. And so, that's something also that UFT and sort of like child advocacy groups are trying to minimize, that aspect. And so we are now at this point, because they're middle school, we give them that option. If they feel comfortable, not having their cameras on throughout the lesson, that's fine. If they feel comfortable having their camera on, by all means, they can have their cameras on.
But they should be near their devices, because they can get called on, and when they get called on, they're expected to answer. Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
Can I just piggyback off of what my colleague said? Also, because when we switch classes, it would be best if each and every teacher sees your child's face. That's why we do encourage them to keep it on, but we're not. We just encourage them to keep it on. Let's just say that.
Hi, this is Miss Cruz. So the camera situation, I do kind of want to give just a little bit of pushback about the camera being off. So as teachers, our job is to model for students, to model what they need to do. And sometimes when students' cameras are off, or not all students, but a lot of students, they're not paying attention to what the teacher is doing. So when it's during instructional time, we're usually doing a mini lesson and we're doing a model. For myself, when I'm modeling something, all populations is different. It's best that your camera is on because at that time, you see exactly what is it that we want you to do. So if your camera is off, we have to assume that you know what to do, or we have to assume that you're looking. So for myself, if your camera is on doing the modeling, where you're seeing what I'm doing and you can give me a thumbs up. Then when you're doing independent work, it's okay for the camera to be off during independent work. But I do encourage you as parents to not kind of give the students that much of the leeway, because some students, especially if they're home alone or you're at work, when their camera is off, their children, they could be watching TV, playing video games. So during the modeling.
There is a question in the chat box from Ms. Liberato. Do they get more breaks besides lunchtime?
There are no additional scheduled breaks aside from lunch in the schedule. But again, as Ms. Sanchez just said, it's kind of up to each individual teacher to gauge if their students are in need of something. I know sometimes because the schedule is so back to back, one class after the other, after about 2 or 3 classes, I'll notice some fatigue. So I will encourage and recommend like a stretch break, a water break. You have 2 or 3 minutes to go get water, go use the bathroom, come back, and literally encourage them to physically stretch their arms, their necks, things like that. Because, you know, for me, it's taxing just sitting all day. So I know for their little bodies, it definitely is taxing. So each individual teacher kind of, you know, gives them at least a stretch break for a few minutes.
I love the cutest thing is when they ask you if they can go to the bathroom. I'm like, you're home, go to the bathroom. You know, that's the best part. But yeah.
And I know that when they're in gym, they do get that physical activity because I've been in gym with Mr. Reed. And so he does have them up out of their chairs, you know, exercising and, you know, just, you know, marching or doing jumping jacks or something. So they do get that break also in gym.
Yeah.
So
And Ms. Holland, congratulations on your light cell data. You know, we're very happy to hear that the success of your kids reading.
All right.
For those who don't know what he's talking about, if any of your children are in class 705, we've been really trying to be intentional about our independent reading. And as you guys know, we use Lightsail as our independent reading platform, and we do that daily. And so to encourage and motivate them, we have like a class goal, personal goal. I feel like I put my life on the line because I told them if they reach it and, you know, they meet all the requirements, they get homework passes and all kind of stuff. So I don't even know what I set myself up for, but it seems to be working. Our daily goal, class goal, collectively is 300 Lightsail minutes a day within a 5-day week. They've been knocking it out the ballpark. The day before yesterday, they had 700 and something minutes, and yesterday they had 875 minutes. So I really don't know what I set myself up for because it looks like I'm about to be given all kinds of prizes. But I'm just happy that they are motivated and inspired and encouraged to want to read.
There you go.
Yes.
So we want to thank all of you who are participating with us tonight, and thank you for coming. Thank you for your questions. Our email addresses are here on this last slide. If there's any questions you think of, you know, after we log off, please don't hesitate to reach out and let us know. We're here every day working for your children and for you to make sure that they get the quality education that you expect. Okay, so if there's no more questions.
Yeah, and Parents Day Conference on the 19th, correct?
Yes, sir, on the 19th. Yes, sir. So it'll be virtual, so please look out for the invitation. You know, that's how we do things these days. So please, and we will be happy for you to join us. Ms. Hernandez, yes.
Yes, before we all go, parents, I would just like to remind you to please look into your emails for your Google Classroom invitation, because we would really like for you to stay up to date with how your child is progressing in their classes. If you did not receive an invitation, please reach out to your child's homeroom teacher. That would be for 701 Ms. Asamoah, 702 Ms. Jimenez, 703 Ms. Robinson, 705 Ms. Holland. I'm going in a roll. 914 Ms. Sanchez, Ms. Cruz, you're 912.
916.
916. I was so close.
Yeah.
That's okay. I was wrong too, Ms. Hernandez. Sorry, Ms. Hernandez.
Please, if you didn't receive an invitation to join your child's classroom, please reach out to their teacher so that we can send you an invite and we can all be in connection. Again, our biggest mode of communication will be via email. So anytime you guys have questions for your child's for your teachers, or if you would like to schedule a one-to-one meeting with their teachers just to get a little bit more background information, please reach out.
Don't hesitate. Let us know. This is part of the 7th grade team. The other part of it is in having a meeting with our Spanish-speaking parents. We are very cohesive, very collaborative. So please reach out to us and let us help you if you have any concerns, okay? We are here for you. All righty.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I just wanted to take 1 second to invite all the parents, reminding you that next week we have the parents meeting on Wednesday at 5:30. Be on the lookout for an invitation. As always, we provide a lot of information. Mr. Mercedes joins us almost all the time, so everyone is invited. We do it now every other week, so it will be next Wednesday at 5:30, and the Spanish version will be on Thursday at 5:30. Thank you.